So at that point, you're like, man, this music thing ain't working. I got to get it how I live. That pretty much what happened? That pretty much the story?
Yeah. When I got out of prison, I had a little music equipment, and I pretty much came home with nothing. You know, being a street nigga, a lot of times we get caught up in the wrong stuff. So I had to sell a lot of stuff, and I just
How long did you do, if you don't mind me asking?
I was given a suspended sentence of 5 and 5. So I ended up doing like 3 summers on the 5 years that I had to do. Ended up doing like 3 summers, and I came home. I think it was the end of 2010 when I came home. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So now you go ahead. You said you had some equipment and.
Yeah, and I was broke, man. So you know, I ain't gonna lie. You know, I kind of sold it to kind of get myself out of the ground because you know it was hard to find a job when I came home. So I had to have some revenue. I got children, you know what I'm saying? So you know, I took what little bit I had to try to make it work, and I ended up in barber school, and that's how I ended up in Orangeburg. I was cutting hair under Mr. Robinson at Professional Barber Shop.
Shout out to Mr. Robinson. Shout out to Big Paul.
Mr. Rob, man. Shout out to my boy P. Rob too, man. I love that little dude, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Mr. Robinson gave me my sense of business.
Okay.
He gave me my understanding of researching business before you step into it. You know, I also ended up working for a guy. I don't know if you know Mr. Edwards, Stephon Edwards. Shout out to Big Step and Little Step. I love you, Little Step, man. Shout out, that's my boy right there, man. But shout out, you know, Mr. Edwards and Little Step. But, you know, they also, you know, gave me an understanding of running the business and what it takes to network. And, you know what I'm saying? Put yourself in a position, you know, for a betterment of what you're trying to do. You know, I was in my early 30s when I met these guys, and I was trying to kind of trying to reform my thought process. And I had this young guy. Shout out to Mecca too. Mec Davis. He's a local battle rapper out of Columbia. He's real dope. He was in South Carolina. He was in the Barbarian Rap League for years. But long story short, he used to hear about me from when I was in Big Sound, you know, making beats and shit. So he kind of kept reaching out to me like, man, you still making beats, man? Like, damn, you have dope shit. Like, you fuck with me. So, you know, just after conversations with him and a couple other people reaching out to me like, hey, man, you still making beats type shit? I said, okay, I want to get back into it. I want to do it the right way. And that's what kind of just started my journey where I'm at.
Okay, so I got a question to see, because you're from that Golden area, Hip Hop 96. So with your production, you got a production, because that's still a big transition. Are you more of a instrument production? Are you more of a Pro Tools, Fruity Loops? You know, like just like that.
I do both. I actually do both. My first, even when I was rapping, I always had a love for it. Like I would have I had a DR5. This is when they had drum machines. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was one of the first things I started out with was a DR5. And even when I was in the studio laying down on other people's beats, like I was always asking questions because it intrigued me. You know what I'm saying? To how beats was put together, especially when I, you know, figured out it was a little small. And if you know a DR5 back then, it was like this big, like little teeny thing, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
Those things, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, I always had like a kind of a love for it and just wanted to know. But it wasn't until like, you know, later on, I actually started learning about sampling and stuff like that. So that's what made me be like, okay, I could do this. I taught myself how to play piano by ear. I'm no Beethoven or Zaytoven for that matter. I'm more of I do a lot of sampling. Like I do a lot of sampling. What I do is I take a sample to create the origin of my melody, and then I'll come back and, you know, put some notes in it to kind of enhance what I'm doing, and then, you know, I make the beats from there. But I do a lot of sampling. Matter of fact, on my album that I just released called Thug Standard, it's a record on there called The Hate Is So Real. That's actually a sample from Donnell Jones, What It's Gonna Be.
Okay. So I got a question. So everybody listening, so is your album available on all streaming platforms?
Yes, it'll be on Apple Music within the next 2 weeks, but it's on Spotify, Deezer. It's pretty much on everything now. You know, it's on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and download it.
So if they type in CountyPimpin, it's gonna pop up. What's the name of it?
And do it as one word. CountyPimpin as one word, not 2 words. CountyPimpin is one word. You can Google it right now. It'll pop up. You know what I'm saying? My YouTube and the Spotify will pop up. You know what I'm saying? My Instagram, all that stuff will pop up. Twitter, you know.
Because I like the music, so that's why I'm glad. That's kind of make it easier when you got. said, bro, it make it easier when you got your stuff together. So when I just they'll apply for you like, yes, Country Pimpin, one word, you can find it wherever. Because what happens is, say you say the name of an album, they forget the album. Like, man, I know boy name was Country Pimpin, but they forgot the name of the album. But like you said, it's all one word, so they can find it. Hey, guys, anybody who's in the music or any kind of thing where you just kind of platform, you just learn lesson. Make your stuff easy to find. The harder to find, people will lose interest.
Yeah, because that's one thing I learned, through trial and error, that the public has a short attention span, and if you can't make it easier for them, you're gonna be kind of lost in the wind, man.
You're gonna be very lost. Okay, so I like the fact of that. So all right, so if you get out, you start making production. So what happened to where what instance happened or what story happened to you be like, you know what, man, I'm kind of good at this. Like I think this might be my lane.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've always been confident in myself, but it wasn't until McDonald's, he came to me. He was like, okay, you pretty dope, bro. I fuck with you from Dickiana. He was like, I want you to kind of help produce one of my first, national releases. So I'm like, okay. I was honored, but just during that time, we was coming up with so many ideas on what songs to put, and just because a lot of stuff that we worked on wasn't just beats that he came and picked. Like, those were beats that I started from scratch. I just had an idea, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't until like maybe about my fourth track I had made for him, and we kind of had a crowd of people over there. And I made the beat in no time. It's just everybody's reaction to it, what kind of just made me feel like, okay, this could be a good path for me. Okay. And it wasn't just in that day. It was the fact that for a while, every time everybody saw me, they was like, "You dope, like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying?" And it's to the point now to where even now, like, I have people come in, they be surprised. They be like, "Oh shit, you made that?" And they'll say stuff like, "Man, somebody need to hear you." I've heard it a lot in the past 5 to 10 years. So, that kind of gives me confidence on doing it. You know what I'm saying?
That you go where you need to go.
Yeah.
You're in the right path. Okay, so all right, so we get to the music. So now I got a question. I'm gonna go back and forth. Okay. So you in the Bird. How'd you get from the Bird to Florence, or is there another stop in between that?
Actually, that's easy. I'm married and shit. My wife, she was living in Florence.
Hey, bro. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, my brother. Hey, because guess what? Because if you didn't mention it, you were gonna hear about it, and I ain't got nothing to do with me there.
Yeah, no, I'm always keeping 100 with everybody. I be okay with myself. Because again, I don't have nothing to hide. You know what I'm saying? I'm a normal man who got flaws and everything. But anyway, my wife, I was living in Orangeburg. I got a house on the hill. I don't know if you know it. About Orangeburg. I was living on Coleman, and
shout out to the hill.
Yeah, shout out to the hill, man. Shout out to my boy Willie B too, man. That's my dog, man. Shout out to my dog Trav. You already know Trav. What's good with you, boy? But yeah, like I was living on Coleman and shit, and my wife, she used to come and see me. And at the time, she was living in Florence. And
so how did y'all meet each other? Y'all knew each other previous to this, or?
I was in a relationship previous to this, and we lived in Orangeburg, and I was working for intermediate marketing. I was doing telemarketing.
Everybody now work for IML. Yeah, everybody.
Okay. You already follow me, man. You already follow me. So I was out there at Isla Capri for a while, and I ended up meeting her and another one of my homegirls. They ended up becoming like my sisters during that time, because I was in a relationship. She was married, and her homegirl was married as well. We just kind of clicked. We vibed with each other. Long story short, everybody kind of went separate ways, and a couple years later, she ended up getting divorced. I ended up splitting up with my old lady, and we kind of met up on